Hey everyone, welcome back to the Music Corner, episode 6, presented by Access Ballymun and hosted by myself, Ger Kellett. First of all, I just want to give a shout out to our guest last week on episode 5, who was Jaleli. Make sure you go check out her latest single, Maybe, which is available on all the major streaming platforms right now. And my guest now for episode 6 of the Music Corner, our last episode of season 1 of the Music Corner, is a guy named Mikey Brennan, who is a hip hop artist from Dublin. He started on the scene around 2019, working with his group LightNife, and we're going to get into the interview with himself right now. Right, Mikey Brennan, nice one for sitting down with us, bro.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me. Thanks very much.
What I wanted to do, man, so you have Mikey Brennan, that's yourself, your artist name, but you're also part of a hip-hop group here in Ireland called LightNife. So I just want to rewind back to 2019, which I think was the first time you started rapping and releasing music out to the public. And Imagine, was that the first single?
Imagine was the first single that came out with myself, Stephen Wearin and Gav Arnold as a three-piece. The lads had been together for a couple of years before that, releasing kind of mixed tapes, and just Gav was singing. Gav has always been singing like his whole life, and Stephen Wearin was rapping. And I suppose I wanted to get involved in whatever way I could, like when I saw the two of them at it. So I myself was writing away just lyrics. I wasn't sure what way it was gonna take shape. Like I couldn't sing basically, and I loved rap. I was like, but something was holding me back at the start from giving the rap like a proper shot. And then I suppose Wearin just kind of said like it's just expression really. And I suppose Imagine was the verse on my verse, and Imagine was just kind of like expressing what was in my head, and you know, the lads as well just brought their A game to it, like, and it worked well as a first single, like.
Yeah, and that's your first ever track to release to the public of you rapping on a track.
Yeah, that's the first, I think. Yeah,
no, I was just gonna ask, so how, like, talk us through that process, man, because it's nerve-wracking releasing music, even as an established artist doing it a few years.
Yeah,
as yourself only starting, like, this is your first verse you're putting on a track. What were the feelings like? And then the track itself, Imagine, how was that received then as like the newly formed LightNife?
Yeah, it was like, to go back to then and to compare it to now, it's like it's completely like it's two different stories altogether. But like back then, I was just kind of finding a way of, like I said, expression and the rap, as I love the rap, like, and like I suppose writing Imagine and releasing it was just, the experience was kind of like, I suppose, I don't want to say like it was a journey or sound mad cliche or anything. It was just like part of growing up, I suppose. It was just the time I was in myself with the lads as well. We were all kind of going through different things, but like the art took precedence then. You know, it's just kind of like we loved doing what we were doing, and we just had to get it out there, you know.
And you mentioned there, I'll go back to how it was being received in a second, but you mentioned Gavin Arnold and Stephen Wearin, they were they LightNife before?
No, we went through a couple of different like brainstorming ideas of what we were going to call ourselves, and I think the lads were just Wearin and Gav at one stage,
right?
And then when I first came on board, we were doing a few covers on like Facebook, and I was playing the guitar and Gav was singing, Wearin was doing a few raps, just putting stuff on Facebook, like.
Yeah.
And we were called SMG then, just Stephen, Mikey and Gav.
Yeah.
And then LightNife came about as a name through just a speaking mishap. Like I remember we were going on holidays before, and Wearin was talking about what would the nightlife be like. And he just goes, I wonder what the LightNife would be like. And I was like, right, that's the name of
that's
when I was thinking back to then. Yeah.
So from then, kind of, LightNife was formed. It's the three of you involved, and Imagine was the first single. And then the next single that you came with was Saying Buzz.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And so we'll get to it in a second, but Saying Buzz, then talk to us about how that track was formed, and then talk to us about how Same Buzz was received by fans or critics, and then Imagine as well. We didn't chat about that. How was Imagine received, and how was Same Buzz created and received?
Yeah, in terms of reception, like the first one, Imagine did like I wasn't expecting it to get as many views or whatever. Like we're not really in it for views or anything like that. Like it's just like I just love putting music out there now. It's addictive. Like like it's done the best out of all of them. So I'd say there was a certain amount of like people were kind of intrigued to see like, oh, like Mikey Brennan's rapping now. What's the story there?
What's this all about?
Yeah. And then also just to see the three of us together for the first time on a track, and like people would have known we were friends, and we've been friends since school. Like,
yeah.
So yeah, like I think it was well received. Like I had people say nice things to me about it, and like that they weren't expecting that. Like I remember going back like a few years ago when we were starting, like putting together the idea of me rapping, Gav singing, and we're rapping as well, and producing our own stuff. That like we went to Jambo's studio out in Kilbarrack, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I remember standing in front of the mic, Jambo on the other side of the screen, and just being like, how have I managed to do this? Like, you know, and just I remember seeing him then I think after Same Buzz came out, I saw him in District 8, and I was saying to him, do you remember when I was in the studio that time, and I was just like, I was like a rabbit in the headlights in front of the mic. Like, he was like, yeah, you had something though. You had like, you knew how to catch the beat. You just didn't have the confidence behind it. And I think that's something that you have to have, like, going forward. It's something that grows on you as well as an artist.
Yeah.
The confidence side of things. So to go back to your question on reception, like it's those kind of things that really stick with me. Just the small comments from people that know what they're talking about, and even I suppose everyone knows what they're talking about when it comes to music, because it's opinion based, and it's
but from your peers, like someone like Jambo that's well respected, I was saying, I get what you're saying there. Like to have him say there's something about you is
it was really nice to hear.
Keep going, like
it was. And then for Same Buzz, then it was like me and that was just a pure rap song that me and Stephen wanted to do ourselves, like that. It had a rap hook, like it wasn't going to be Gav on it singing as well, like we've since, like, in later on found that Gav can actually rap a tune as well himself, but that's we're gonna explore that in future. But the Same Buzz was just like something that we wanted to put out as just pure rap, like rap hook, rap verses, and just kind of show another side to us that like had kind of an anger about us as well, like, because that's something that I think is present in rap a lot of the times, kind of angry expression, and a lot of people kind of I suppose they expect it in rap to have that kind of aggressiveness to it. It's
a very anti-establishment or that sort of
we wanted to kind of explore that kind of like side, because we're constantly learning as we're going on as well, of
course.
So we try something, we see how it's being received, then we take it on to our next kind of song and see how it goes then.
Yeah, because Same Buzz seemed to do really well. I think it was added to a number of kind of decent playlists on Spotify.
I was happy with that. Yeah,
I saw it knocking around. And then just to move on from Same Buzz, he's brought out another single then after that, which was called Hold On. Hold On, Same Buzz, and Imagine were kind of the three singles just dropped from an album that you were going to put out then. So Hold On was the last single to come out before the album came out, or in and around that time, and the album was After Hours. So that's the debut album from LightNife. So talk to us about Hold On, and then talk to us about putting the album together and putting that out into the world then.
Sure, Hold On was kind of like we're getting Gav back bring his majestic voice into the songs again. Gav has just this raw talent for singing. He's been singing his whole life, and just like whenever. Another thing I remember going into Jambo's studio before with Gav is that we showed Jackknife J his raw vocals, like he was like, this fella can hit a note, like, you know. So for Hold On anyway, like that was just kind of another stage in the growth. It was kind of going back to more pop sound, I'd say, like kind of a hip hop pop sound. And yeah, like it's just one of those things. Like we had stuff to say at the time. There's no real topic to anything at that stage of our progression. Like it was just kind of what we felt at the time we wanted to talk about, and we gave it a go that way.
Yeah. The album then, After Hours. So talk to us about creating that album. How long of a process was it? And how, like, so you put out your first track, rapping on a track in 2019, and then the album came out in the same year, I think, After Hours in 2019, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
my head's
2020. It's not
2020. Yeah, see, with this whole COVID thing, I don't even know what day it is anymore. Never mind when the music comes out.
Yeah, but no, you basically released an album fairly quick after releasing your first tune.
Yeah,
within the year or so. So talk.
Yeah, it was. I think it was 2020. Yeah, the March 2020. It was just when we went into lockdown. Was when After Hours dropped. But yeah, it all happened like really quick. Like from the first being on the first track, rapping, to the album coming out. So like what we were doing was just the two of us, me and Weirin, making beats and seeing what ones we liked and what ones were kind of like we weren't sure of, writing verses over them, having Gav sing hooks on them, and yeah, it worked its way that way. And then the name After Hours, shout out to The Weeknd, like copying us. How dare he?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll be watching. Watching. But yeah, so you just mentioned there, so you're writing, Gav is writing and singing, and you're rapping and everything. But you mentioned there a second ago producing as well, producing your own stuff. So are you trio producing all the music, or are you outsourcing it to producers? Are you doing bits and bobs of each?
A bit of everything. Yeah, it's mostly been like in house, like even as far as we're doing the videos, and like we shoot each other, like when we're doing the videos, like, and we had one song with Aidan O'Reilly, who goes under Aidan Ayden on Instagram, and that was called Lost in My Head, and we were delighted with that song. It has a nice kind of poppy feel, Gav singing on it, and that's come out since. But for After Hours, it was all us producing and rapping over our own beats.
Great, man. And what so I had to produce, because you are creating tracks not too long before the album come out, like rapping on them. But how long have you been actually, because rapping and then actually producing tracks and making music, that's a totally different field of speciality. So how long have you been at that, like, producing music, and what software are you using for any producers that are listening in that want to get started?
Well, I've been playing guitar since I was 11, so that kind of gave me the musical ear, and I've just been listening to music my whole life. So then in terms of producing, we were outsourcing beats at the start, and we weren't sure that we were getting the exact sound we wanted to. Like, it was kind of just like the kind of type beats on YouTube and a few different websites and stuff. And we were like, we may as well, myself and Steve, we were like, we may as well give this a go ourselves and see what happens. Like, and we did a course in sound training college, like a little 10-15 week course on Ableton. Oh, and that kind of
Martin Clancy.
Yeah, Martin Clancy. That's the name of the man who chaired the course. And one of my lecturers now, Vaz.
I know Vaz as well. Yeah. Genius producer.
Yeah. Oh, there was something else. I was completely lost at the start when looking at Ableton. Yeah. I was like, how does this thing make music? Like, you know. But over the course of, I'd say 2.5 years, I started like putting drum beats together and then getting a bit of melody over it, and you just find your way through. YouTube as well is a big thing, like just learning how to
tutorials,
that kind of thing. Yeah, and then I suppose having the ear for music as well has helped me kind of, like, when I'm writing in on Ableton, like when I'm just writing any kind of a song, I'm kind of listening to the melodies as they go along, starting over and listening back constantly, and tweaking things, and that's how the songs come about, really.
Brilliant, man. So he's like keeping a lot of it in house. You
Yeah,
mentioned the video shoots there a minute ago. We're going to get to that. I have a whole kind of conversation about that because that's fascinating in itself. But just to come back to the singles that you were releasing. So in 2020, after the album came out, the next single I see was Johnny Tight Lips.
Johnny Tight Lips. Yeah,
Is that a solo track of yourself?
No, Stephen's on that as well. That's one I produced, and then I came to them with. It was kind of like one of our first concept tunes, I suppose you could say. Like it's kind of like as far as the name goes, like Johnny Tight Lips. For people who don't know, he's a character in The Simpsons. Who goes by this like strict omerta code. Like he doesn't disclose basically any information apart from what he has to.
Yeah.
So. So I kind of my spin on that was like, kind of from a mental health kind of side of things, that like sometimes it's hard to talk. His aspect of it was that like he was sticking to his Cosa Nostra code, like, but mine was kind of a mental health side of things in terms of like sometimes it's hard to talk, but you find your way through it, and talking is the best way forward. Yeah. And then I suppose the Tight Lips kind of thing is just centered around that. Yeah,
and so you obviously rapping on the track and produced it as well. So what was the reception like that? Because since 2019, you have been very, very active in hitting people with single after single, the album in the middle, as we said, music videos we'll get into in a minute. But how was Johnny Tight Lips then received?
Yeah, I was really happy with that as well, like because it was one of the first times I kind of alluded to that kind of thing on a track, like heavily. Yeah. But I didn't, like the two of us, I suppose, did it in such a way that we were kind of like, you're expressing yourself, but you're putting a kind of a creative distance between what it is and the actual, like the artistry of the song, like, you know. So you can kind of, even in terms of like, a lot of people say music is therapy, like that. When you're listening back to it, you're kind of like, that's how I was feeling then. Now is kind of the time to learn from it. But as you say, in terms of reception, people were kind of like, they were like, that's one of the best ones we've heard so far. Like it's like the drums really slap on it. Like I'm really happy with the drum. Just the overall mix is just, I'm really happy with it. Like we don't mix and master at the moment because it's like, that's a whole different, like there's creating beats and there's rapping on them, but mixing and mastering is just like, it's an art in itself, and that's next on the agenda. But
it is. As we were saying there, like writing is a field of its own, producing is a field of its own, videos are a field of its own, and then the mixing and mastering is a field of its own. So you have taken on quite a lot with the writing, producing, shooting the video. So I think we can forgive you for outsourcing the but for anybody that is tuning in that wants to know about mixing and mastering, it's often the case. I do it all the time. It's very rare that you'll sit down and mix and master your own songs, because there's people out there that have studied that this is what they do. So you may as well let them do the best job on your tracks. It only makes sense.
That's it. Yeah. And another thing is that, like, when you're creating your songs, you're listening to them over and over and over again, and to get a fresh set of ears onto the track.
Your ears get tired.
Yeah, you can. It brings a whole different perspective onto it, and I can bring out things that you didn't even know were there yourself, like instrumentally.
Yeah, it's the collaboration again, isn't it? It's going back to, even in a small way, like getting your track mixed, but collaborating with another creative can bring your project up. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
And then later on in 2020, "Lost in My Head," the next single to come from LightNife. So tell us about that track. What was the writing like for that, and the production, and the whole.
I remember me and Gav getting together and writing the hook first over the instrumental that Aidan O'Reilly had sent us, and we were kind of feeling the poppy side of it, you know, kind of something we could kind of target to more like the radio side of things. But it was just the creative process of it was me and Gav wrote the hook, and then it was kind of like it's like romantic rap kind of stuff, you know. It's about women and romance, I suppose. For everyone, like it's just an accessible tune, I suppose, for anyone, and it's just something to to listen along to without thinking too heavily about that track was. Yeah, it was nice to make. Like, it was fun to make.
Yeah, just
because you could. It was something you could just like experiment on, like with different flows, different types of lyrics that we hadn't used before, and yeah, it did well. Like, in terms of like our expectations is something that you have to manage them. Like, you can't expect to just like, right, I'm gonna be like Jay-Z or Drake or one of these, like, just, it's not gonna, that's not how it works for the majority of people. You put hard work into it, and I suppose with that track and all the tracks so far, it's just been, for me, it's been about just the enjoyment of it and growing as a person. Like,
yeah, I think that's the main thing with music, isn't it? I've actually been through that as well. We have so much expectation and weight on the release.
Yeah.
And you're like, it needs to stream 10,000, it needs to hit 1,000 views in a day. But what you're saying there is just, you're just enjoying making music, which is, what more can you ask for being an artist?
That's it. Like, when there was a stage, like, don't get me wrong, there was a stage where I was like, you do get disappointed about when you have certain ideas that you wanted to get to this amount or whatever. Like, I think anyone who says otherwise is kind of like
fronting.
Like, not so much. Like, there are people out there who genuinely just put music out and they just love doing it. Like, but there is a mix. You do love it, but you want it to do well once it gets out into the world as well. Like, so that's kind of my standpoint on it. But that's it. Like, that's.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It makes sense. You definitely, for any artist, you do have to manage your expectations.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in indie artists, and in Ireland, in rap in Ireland, you just bring your niche more and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, before we talk about the latest single that's come out, which is War Cry, that came out this year, 2021.
Yeah, that was.
Before we get into that, we'll just dive back to the video. So, shooting music videos again is another field of expertise, which is, it's hard for artists to do. But if you do want your song to do well, having visuals and having videos is a really key part of it to push it on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, because they're all visual mediums, So talk to us about the process of making a video. So you were saying you are shooting each other on locations. Then what? Yeah. So talk about that process, and then the post-production process of editing and getting it out to the world then.
Yeah, so I suppose as part of the learning progress, we found that out as well as we were going along, that like you said there, you do need visuals. It's a visual medium as well as it is audio. Like, so I suppose Stephen got a camera, and we were like, right, the first song is going to have a music video, because he had done his own rapping and music videos before, like, over the years. Yeah. And I'd always like admired like his like, there's a certain amount of bravery involved in going out yourself, and even with yourself and Linko that time, the two lads did a video, I remember.
Weirin and Linko.
Weirin, Gav, and yourself and Linko, I think, went out and did a video. They were telling me before. Yeah,
I've been on a couple of shoots with Weirin. I similar to what you were saying. I respect his and Gav, the trees. I respect the drive. They get in and get it done, and then going around the city with a camera. Sometimes
it's kind of like
bully yourself.
That's it. Yeah, it's all like part of being an artist. Really, is that you're expecting to kind of be embarrassed at different stages, from the start, like getting on the mic first, I was expecting Gav and Stephen to find it funny me rapping, but you lose that. Yeah. Then as far as then going out into the public and making music videos, then you don't care as much anymore. Once you get embarrassed, you get over it, and you grow as an artist then, So for shooting music videos, we get in a location, we bring the camera, and then we let the music play in the background and rap over it. And kind of at the early stages, we didn't have our concept, because we were, as I said, we were learning kind of as we were going along. So we just get to a location with as little people as possible and try and make it look as good as possible. Yeah. And then in terms of post-production, like, Stephen he's been learning that as well as he goes along, like doing different courses online, and his he did creative digital media in college.
Okay.
In ITB. So like he kind of had a bit of a background in it before he started doing our kind of LightNife project.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just kind of evolved as it's gone on.
Yeah, you can see the evolution in the videos. I know what you're saying. Sometimes it's hard to, as an independent artist, to be like, I have this like idea for a video, but sometimes it's too far fetched. It's not doable with the resources that you have. So I totally just get into a location. If the lighting is nice, get whatever shots we can and get out.
That's it. Yeah.
But no, like, there is a big respect to Wirren, because I've noticed a substantial rise in the production values of your visuals in the past year.
Yeah.
So shout
Thanks very much, man. Yeah.
No, and you ourselves, like obviously you are shooting it as well, but Wirren.
Oh, he's had to like in terms of me and making beats and him and the videos and Gav just honing his talent, like with the singing, like we've all come along as it's gone on.
Brilliant.
And yeah, like for the videos, we're in just kind of like, it's, as I say, it's learning as we're going along. We shot Imagine, we looked at it on YouTube and we were like, how can we make this better? So we're kind of looking at the video now and we're seeing the things that we didn't see back then now. So that's how it comes on then, you know. Like even as far as like the type of now he'd know a lot more than me about this, like the type of shot you're doing, like the frames per second and the ISO rate, all this kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's another minefield to
that's just kind of more praise towards the group, especially producing, writing and the videos as well. So like they're staying productive and creative. Yeah, it's inspiring, man, especially in the past year because of the lockdown and all the shit. But before, we're nearly coming to the end, man, but I do have a couple more to fire at you. So sure, so when you started out on the scene, you were saying you were on the track and you were a little bit nervous and stuff, but so who were you're a big music lover, you've played instruments all your life, but in terms of hip-hop, who's inspired you as a hip-hop artist? It can be Ireland, England, the States, wherever. Who's inspired yourself?
I suppose in terms of like Irish hip-hop, the likes of like Lethal Dialect, Jambo, Costello, all those lads. Wirren himself knows, he kind of introduced me to the Irish hip hop side of things, and then I listened to it myself. Then, those lads were like, they were a big influence for us. Then, like on a wider, on kind of a global scale, like all the usual suspects, Tupac and Biggie, and like even Drake. Like Drake, people get stick for listening to Drake because they kind of see there's a lot of pop involved and there's a lot of kind of he is a marketing machine, like, but there's a lot of talent there as well in the lyrics that I appreciate, and he's been a major influence for me. Yeah,
he's quite good with the metaphors and the wordplay. Yeah, I can understand.
That's a real influence for me, like the whole the use of language and metaphor and wordplay, as you say, like it's just that's another creative thing in itself, you know.
Yeah. No, so just to move on then to the plans for the future. So you have been so busy since 2019, so active, man. So 2021 into 2022, even 23. What's the plans for LightNife and Mikey Brennan, yourself? The next while.
Yeah, it's just to keep going with it, keep getting better at what we do, because it's just enjoyment at the end of the day, and this is what I enjoy doing the most. We're going to keep making music videos, keep making beats, and I suppose when things get better in the world as it heals, I suppose we want to do more shows, do more. We've only done one or two so far, and they've actually the second one was during it was during COVID. It was under level 3 though, so we were. Yeah,
actually, that's one point I kind of missed there. So talk to us about your experiences with live gigs. So you've only done the one or two. Talk to us about those.
Yeah, that was nerve-wracking as well. The live show. It was thanks to Fluttertone as well. Colm Slattery, he put us up for that one. It was in Bow Lane in town, and it was a socially distanced gig, 50 people at it. And yeah, it was great. Like I really enjoyed being able to perform the tunes to people, because like you're performing to a camera or you're performing to the mic in front of you,
Yeah.
but performing to the people, it's a whole different thing altogether. And then when it was mostly our mates like as well,
Yeah.
because it was just the 50 people. So yeah, it was just
Good
unreal.
buzz.
It was you get the buzz for it, and you just want to keep going and going with it.
So more of that
So
in the future, you're hoping, yeah.
more of that is what I hope for, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, here, man, before I let you go, we'll have a chat about War Cry. So War Cry is the latest single to come from LightNife, yourself,
Yeah.
Stephen, and is Gavin on this one?
Gav's not on that one. Gav is he's going to be on. I've a load of beats coming up. Like, I'm not sure if they're going to take the shape of a project or but there's going to be more. And Gav is like, he's going to be singing, but he's kind of flirting with the idea of rapping as well. Nice. And he just has the kind of the natural, because of the singing and writing for singing, he has the natural ability to know when he's hitting his kind of like his rhymes on the snare and that kind of thing, you know. So, but for War Cry, it was just me and Stephen, and it was kind of like, it was like our rallying call to, I suppose, be taken account of, you know.
Yeah.
We wanted to put something out there that was kind of like expressing, kind of in a similar vein to Same Buzz, kind of aggression, but we wanted it to have another aspect to it, like a kind of a rallying call for the scene, basically the Irish music scene, to kind of get behind each other, because we kind of noticed there's a lot of kind of, not to say there's divides and splits,
Clicks,
but
it's clicky.
Yeah,
it can be clicky.
Yeah, there's kind of like, there's people doing a lot of different genres within Irish hip hop.
Yeah,
and there is kind of bitterness. It'd be ignorant to say otherwise, that it's just all kind of, it's creative and music and harmony, and there is kind of like clicks, as you say, but our hope is that, like, with that kind of music, kind of bring people together. Yeah, it's a weird way to go about it, but with the lyrical nature of the song, but that's what we hope for anyway, you know.
Yeah, and so that came out this year, and how's that? It's going well, reception wise, and
yeah, it's doing well. Yeah, the video's up on YouTube, War Cry. Yeah, it's like, again, I kind of gauge it through my friends' reaction first, because like, while they are my mates, like, they're going to be honest with me as well. So yeah, but it's been nice to see, like, other people in the Irish scene kind of say that, yeah, they kind of feel in a similar way, that to the content of the song, like, there is a lot of kind of aggression within people, not to say that everyone's going around like fuming all the time or anything, like, but there is kind of that element within every person, that they have something in them that they want to say,
express,
and just to get it out and express it, like, you know. So I think that's something across the board with the tunes, that like, that would be a recurrent theme, like,
like a thread kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
man. Yeah, well, so best of luck with what's coming next. What can we expect next, man? A new single, an EP, an album? Can you hint at
I'd say we'll probably keep going with the singles, because it means we can keep kind of a step ahead. Like, if we are feeling a project coming on in terms of an album or something like that, like, we can take that and put it onto an album, or we can see what way it's going as it's going along.
Yeah.
But
smart game.
Yeah.
Well, here, man, we're gonna jump into the War Cry video now in a sec. But before I let you go, I have 5 questions here that are not music based at all. Just to throw a curveball at you. This is mainly just to get people to know. Like, we talk about music a lot, but actually you as a person, a little bit more about you. So the first one's fairly straightforward. Cat or dog person?
Definitely dog. There's a lot of cats on my road, and they're always staring at me, and I just don't like it.
That's fair enough. The intimidation.
Yeah.
Favorite TV show? Can be past or current. Can be anything. What's your favorite TV show?
I'd have to say either The Sopranos
Nice.
or Game of Thrones before it just went off, and those last couple of series kind of just ruined the whole thing.
I'll be quite similar myself. Yeah, Sopranos is top.
Yeah, it's just you can keep going back to it, and it's just
timeless.
You see things you missed before.
Yeah. Next one is favorite color.
Oh, probably green.
Green.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Any reason why?
Just up the Irish, you know.
Fair enough. Yeah. Favorite superhero, if you're into them.
Yeah, like I grew up watching superheroes, so like I suppose like the Christopher Nolan's Batman is just there in terms of films. Like the films are unreal. And then I grew up like the RTE used to show like Adam West's Batman and like the Pow and Kapow and all that. Like when he'd be in his fights, like that just was gas. Like looking back, so yeah, I'd say Batman. Yeah,
Batman's good on The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
And then the last one. This is interesting, man. So you're stranded on a desert island with one Simpsons character. Who would it be?
Oh, it has to be my man, Johnny Tightlips.
I knew it, man. When you said it was wrong, I was like, here we go. Yeah, that's the main man. That's that question answered. Any reason why?
I suppose you're on a desert island. You don't want someone nattering in your ear all the time.
And if you do want dodgy, you'll keep it on the hush hush as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, man. That's all the questions I have for you. Nice one for sitting down with us. We're gonna jump into Warcry, the music video for that now. But just for people that are looking to connect with LightNife, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Yeah.
So I think it's LightNife Music, Light and NIFE Music on Instagram. Then I think it's the same on Facebook and Twitter and those kind of things. So I'd say it'd be handy to find. But LightNife Music is the socials anyway. Yeah.
And you can catch all the singles and any releases on Spotify and YouTube.
Spotify and YouTube, under the name LightNife.
Deadly, man. Well, yeah, thanks again. Best of luck with everything you're working on, man. And we're going to jump into Warcry now.
That's great, man. Thanks very much for having me.
Don't chat to me. Every time I speak is a masterpiece. You can't handle beef when it comes to war, and the going gets tough, you ask for peace. Cancel me if you can't hack the heat. I can't stand the scene, it's pure blasphemy. The audacity of these casualties, born victims when I smash the beat. Pure savagery, chop them up, yeah, mash to me. Go on, laugh at me, I know what's happening. Blood on my teeth like I'm Hannibal Lecter on a Saturday, and I'd happily see the last of me. If I was rapping and saw me catching me, they can't challenge me. That's reality and that's sad.
I've got no walk and I'm going bust. I've got no board and I'm folding up. But best assured that I know the source. I might be crossed but I coping up. I promise big that I won't do rough. So I got so strict and I'm open up. And now I feel I'm going pro, even though I'm so weak and I'm showing love. It's the end of the season, better believe I'm not in the deep pit. Lads when I meet this, strength and a weakness get me defeated. People are evil, lying to me still. These cunts that I sit across gonna get me done with a Twitter mob. But no words gonna hurt when I'm lifting off, so don't think I'm soft.
Had it up to me neck with stress. Lifetime thinking I'm second best. No more attention on empty threats. This scene knows me, I'm debt collecting. I'm down in the trench with a deadly weapon. Got intent I've yet to mention. There's dimensions to every sentence. These words are laced with scary lessons. Teach me your wicked ways. I know it's just a little phase. It's all an act, a little game with lots of pay and little change. There's often days I wish I'd pray. Hold me of little faith. If I believed the shit I'd say, there's no debate, I'd be a great.
Excuse me, sir. Time, can you get me off the hook? Roll type sake. Can't do it, Sal.
Or still speak like a demon doors. Don't express what I feel north. All them lies into being tough. Got no reason to be so smug. Too much greed that they're dreaming of. Bleak and rough, so we gonna judge.
Read a book of a story to tell. Discontent with the story as well. Knocking on the door with a bell. And there's no lock and it's faulty as hell. All the gazelles, I'm starving, I mean it. I'm a cheater. If it's meat then I'll eat it. No vegans, we feast on our demons. MCs all up in their feelings.
You would think that I go right straight to the point. I'm not the one here faking a voice. You never shot guns, never got locked up from a normal state. So get off that stuff. Sick of the shit, so I'm done being modest. All you lads don't love to be honest. I do it for the crack, I'm not looking for profit. No money here, but look at us costing. I'm I'm all set, and we got threats. I see these fakes way up in the top deck. Lads wanna face off now in a contest. Vote for a phony, but I'm not stressed. I know what I'm after, not on the scratcher. Lads see me as a posh little rapper, but I'm no actor. Some of you lads ever get the respect and I don't have to act that. Still snapping, won't get attraction. Can't build up way too many factions. All backstabbing, bitching, laughing, sick of grafting, cause it feels like a bad thing. So I live in the moment. Fuck this whole scene, I'm doing my own thing. No novelties, there's no comedy. Just one man here trying to show honesty. I got love for all those that do it well. People still think I'm doomed to fail. If you're true to self, then I could use your help, and we could take it over, then we all propel.
Now can't you give me a straight answer anymore? Was it a boy? I was stepped over. It ain't the way I want it. I can handle things, I'm smart. Not like everybody says. Like, no, I'm smart and I want respect.
Hey folks, so that's the end of season 1 of the Music Corner. I just wanted to sign off and give a couple of shout outs. First of all, shouts out to everybody that's tuned in and engaged with the series. We really do appreciate it, and the artists really appreciate it. And that brings me to the artists. Shouts out to the 6 guests that featured on the Music Corner series 1. We had Just Dave, Flynn Johnson, Zainab, Dovely, Jaleli and Mikey Brennan. So again, thanks to all those artists, thanks to you for tuning in, and we'll see you very shortly for season 2. Peace out.